McCrary.
Good evening.
Right here, just so grown up.
We'd like to call the meeting to order for the Monday, August 14th school board meeting. We will start the meeting with recognition, individual student growth.
All right, thank you. Dr. Warland.
Well, good evening, everyone. We're so thankful you're with us this evening for our first board meeting of the 23-24 school year. We're so glad you plan on hanging out with us for the next hour and a half or so thank you. Just kidding. Before we invite students up to celebrate our All-A Honor Roll, I would like the students to first thank all of the people in this room who have supported you, whether they're teachers, coaches, moms, dads, aunts, grandparents, guardians, whoever it might be. Students, let's give a round of applause to the people who have supported us on our journey. It does truly take a team, so thank you to all of you who took time tonight to join us. We are going to start with Custer Baker. So our fifth graders from last year, from the 22-23 school year, who earned all A's for the year, please come forward and line up right here behind Dr. Clendenning, please. Fifth grade from last year, please come forward.
I don't know what it is. Oh, try Franklin guest. That's 23? Try that. I think that's what it was in the 23. Try that.
Our tradition has been for our students to introduce themselves and then to introduce whoever is with them this evening. So, for example, you are?
Eli Zolkowski.
Eli, who's with you this evening?
My mom,
What's your mom's name?
Nicole Zolkowski.
Thank you for being here. That's the process. Does everyone understand? Tell us who you are and the names of the individuals with you. Congratulations. Thank you.
McKelty Hart. I'm with my mom, Kirsten, my dad, Nate, and then my brother, Titus.
I'm Maggie Sullivan. I'm with my mom, Monique, my dad, Sean, and my sister, Kaylee.
I'm Micah. I'm with my mom, Emily, my father, Daniel, and a little demon I call my brother.
I'm Eli Wishard, and I'm here with my mom, Jessica, and my sister, Kinsley.
I'm Noah Lennon Hyde, and I'm here with my dad, Mark, my mom, Mary Ellen, and my brother, Thomas.
I'm Isaiah. I'm with my brother, my mom, Emily, and my dad, Daniel.
I'm Kinsey Shotting. I'm with my mom, Sedina, my dad, David, and my sister, Callie.
I'm Trevor Smith. I'm with my mom, Danielle, my dad, Kevin, and my sister, Cassidy.
I'm Lily Hudson, and I'm with my mom, Jessica, my stepdad, Mike, my grandmother, Lisa, and my grandfather, Wayne.
I'm Ava, and I'm here with my mom, Kimberly, my sister, Emmy, and my dad, Jacob.
I'm Oscar, and I'm with my dad, Morgan, and my mom, Kathy.
I'm Liam Habig, and I'm here with my mom, Whitney, my dad, Joseph, and my brother, London, and my sister, Lachlan.
I'm Blake, and I'm here with my mother, Kristen, and my stepdad, Dean.
My name's Leilani Palmer. I'm with my mom, Jonalyn, and my dad, Craig, and my little sister, Mila.
I'm Riley, and I'm here with my mom, Becky, my dad, Dave, my sister, Emery, and my grandma, Donna.
I'm Claire Neff, and I'm here with my mom, Susanna.
Well, congratulations on doing so well last year at school. And the last thing we have to do is take a picture. So let's have this group, you guys slide over here, and that group, if you introduce first, you come right back. So you guys step up. Yep, you slide down. Everybody else slide behind. Stop right there, stop. Right here on the circle. We're going to try to be circle to circle here. You guys slide over, keep coming. All right. You can stand up. We're going to have Mrs. Betts is going to take the picture. Good smile.
Congratulations to our fifth graders. Nice work. Now at this time, let's have our sixth graders from the 22-23 school year follow the lead of your fifth grade peers. I'm going to have them come a little closer. Have you come a little bit closer. I was going to say, can you start a second row? Can you see now when you speak, you might have to pop up. Does that sound good? Okay. Congratulations to all of you. Well done. We're going to follow the same system we followed before. Are you ready? Your colleagues in the back, when it's their turn to speak, they're going to step forward so everyone can see them, okay? So don't be surprised.
Hi, I'm Mia Gonzalez. I'm here with my mom, Angie, my brother, David, my uncle, Drew, and my cousin, Macy.
I'm Natalie Hubermel, and I'm here with my mom, Erica, and my dad, Jared.
I'm Reese, and I'm here with my mom, Rachel, my dad, Jeremy, and my brother, Memphis.
I'm Elaine. I'm here with my mom, Liz, and my dad, Bob.
I'm Adeline Truly. I'm here with my mom, Andrea.
I'm Kennedy. I'm here with my parents and my sister, Keegan.
I'm Anna Kate Lugers, and I'm here with my mom, Katie, and my sister, Emma, and my grandparents.
I'm Brent, and I'm here with my dad, Brian, and my mom, Rachel.
Hi, I'm Zoe Clark, and I'm here with my mom, Rachel, and my dad, Bill.
I'm Oliver, and I'm here with my mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, and my siblings.
We're going to trade places. You guys slide back, you guys step up. And now we'll pass the mic back.
My name is Alex Lariel Spear, and I'm here with my little brother, Mylan, my dad, Jose, back there, my mom, and the downgrade female version of me that I call my sister.
My name is Emberly Martin, and I'm here with my mom, Brianna, my dad, Jesse, my brother, Levi, and my sister, Lana.
Hi, I'm Natalie Dixon. I'm here with my mom, Allison, my dad, Hayden, my four younger siblings, Mason, Molly, William, and Grayson.
Hello, my name is Charlie, and I am with my mom, Janice.
Hello, my name is Wyatt Roller, and I'm here with my dad, Jacob, and my mom, Amy, and my brother, Colton.
I'm Torrin Epperson. I'm here with my mom, Christy, and my dad, Brad.
I'm Jack Clark. I'm here with my dad, Ryan, and my mom, Mrs. Clark.
I'm Owen Cummings, and I'm here with my mom, Dana, and my dad, Paul.
I'm Andrew Kepner, and I'm here with my mom, Heather, my stepdad, John, and my brother, Braden.
I'm Carter Cadwell, and I'm here with my mom, Becky, my dad, Josh.
I'm Rory Knurtzer, and I'm here with my mom, Megan, and my dad, Kurt.
Great work. Let's congratulate the students. She needs you to move toward the middle. Move toward the middle. Do you need us to switch? Can you also grab in? Good work. Well done. Congratulations to CBIS. Great work. Next, we will begin with our middle school. We will start with last year's 7th grade class. So if you were a 7th grader last year, please come forward. Congratulations. Congratulations. 2. Let's do 2. Good job. Great job. We'll do the same thing. Sound good? We now have our middle school students, 7th grade from last year. We will start with the first row. Oh, we have 3 rows. Wow, we're getting crafty.
I'm Kale, and I'm here with my mom and my brother.
I'm Arthur Thomas. I'm here with my mom, Kathy, and my dad, Morgan.
I'm Owen. I'm here with my mom, my dad, and my brother.
I'm Griffin, and I'm here with my mom, dad, and little brother.
I'm Noah, and I'm with my mom and dad.
Trade places, and the second row came up.
I'm Holland Beck, and I'm here with my mom, Maureen.
I'm Brenna Bruning, and I'm with my dad, my stepmom, and my sister.
I'm Keely Alexander, and I'm here with my mom and dad.
I'm Emma Farley, and I'm here with my mom and my sister.
I'm Madeline Sutton, and I'm here with my mom, Trina, my stepdad, Justin, and my brother, Corbin.
I'm Grace McCullough, and I'm here with my parents, Todd and Kelly.
I'm Macy Murray, and I'm here with my mom, or my dad, and my aunt, my cousins.
I'm Madison Curray, and I'm here with my mom, Sarah.
I'm Melanie Flora, and I'm here with my mom, Kristen.
I'm Mia Stymack, and I'm here with my mom, Julie, and my dad, Michael.
I'm Ella McCrary, and I'm here with my mom, Stephanie, my dad, Jeff, and my 2 sisters, Elena and Emily.
I'm Corinne Sorrells, and I'm here with my mom, dad, and both my brothers.
I'm Claire Cross, and I'm here with my mom, my dad, and my brother.
I'm Alyssa Weiler, and I'm here with my grandma, Ellen, and my grandpa, Jerry.
All right, we're going to get a picture. Let's go back to 2 rows. And then, yep. All right. All right. Congratulations. Huh?
I still need to go. Congratulations, nice job. And now our 8th graders from the 22-23 school year, please come forward. Yeah, hi guys. Yes, he's up here in this corner. Hi. We might make it in one row. I go a little bit that way. Congratulations to all of you.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Gray. I'm here with my dad, my mom, and my sisters.
I'm Emma. I'm here with my mom, sister, and grandparents.
I'm Ava, and I'm here with my mom, Shadi.
I'm Liam, and I'm here with my dad, grandma, and aunt.
Hi, I'm Emma Small, and I'm here with my mom, Jennifer.
I'm Sadie, and I'm here with my grandma.
I'm Addie. I'm here with my mom, dad, and brother.
I'm Benjamin Warland. I'm here with my mom, Brooke, my dad, Matt, and my sister, Lizzie.
I'm Eli Demery, and I'm here with my mom and my brother.
One of the things you're noticing is that the 5th and 6th graders like to come to the school board meetings. As they get older, they're like, oh, I've got other stuff to do. But no, as they get older, they have so many more things to do. Before we get to the high school, if you've been to our All A celebration more than once, would you please stand up? So anybody that's received all A's from grades 5, 6, please stand up. Yep. There's a lot of you. And there are a lot of kids that fall in that category. And one thing you're going to notice as you look around here, these kids do a lot of other things besides just do school. They're involved in 4-H. They're involved in extracurricular opportunities. And as they get older. So I just want to say congratulations and really keep reaching for the stars. You know, you guys are going to be the school board members someday. You're going to be the superintendents and different things as you lead through your lives. So congratulations and keep doing great work. And now we're ready for the high school.
Great job so far. Look, the freshmen are just leading the way, right? Yes. All right, our freshmen are coming forward from 22-23, all A's. Two rows. You ready? You know the drill.
I'm Connor Jones, and I'm here with my mom, Lori, and my father, Rick.
My name's Ruby Wirtz, and I'm here with my mom, Courtney.
My name's Titus Cross. I'm with my dad, mom, and sister.
I'm Carrie Mays, and I'm with my mom, Kim, and my dad, Russell.
Hi, I'm Carrie Fouch, and I am with my mom, Jen, and I'm with my brother, Jake.
Hi, I'm Samantha Straight. I'm here with my mom, Denise, and my dad, Carl.
Hi, I'm Madison, and I'm here with my grandparents.
Hi, I'm Keegan Turner McQuinn. I'm here with my parents, my sister Kennedy, and my brother Alexander.
Hi, I'm Joseph Judson. I'm here with my mom, Christy, my dad, Ed, and my sister, Elizabeth.
I'm Clay Holman, and I'm here with my mom, my dad, and my sister.
Hi, I'm Marnie Moore. I'm here with my mom, Tamayo, my dad, Greg, my aunt, Christy, and my best friend, Oscar Thomas.
Hi, I'm Jane King. I'm here with my dad, Mike, and the Wilde family.
Hi, I'm Isabella Wilde, and I'm here with my mom, Ashley, and my dad, Casey, and my brother, Noah.
Hi, I'm Emily McCrary. I'm here with my mom, Stephanie, my dad, Jeff, and both my sisters, Elena and Ella.
Hi, I'm Callie. I'm here with my mom, Sedina, my dad, David, and my sister, Kenzie.
I'm Willa. I'm here with my mom, Kathy, my dad, Morgan, and my two brothers, Arthur and Oscar.
I'm Levi Martin, and I'm here with my parents, Jesse and Brianna, and my two sisters.
Great work. Congratulations to all of you. So we need to take a picture. Can some of you over here come forward? But we're going to need 2 rows. Maybe come this way. Will this work? Congratulations to our freshmen from last year. Pardon me, huh? At this time, we are going to ask last year's sophomores, juniors, and seniors to all come down together, please. It's all good. It's all good. Be nice. As you introduce yourselves, please indicate your class level from last year so that people can place you. Sound good?
I'm Elena McCrary. I was a junior last year. I'm here with my mom, Stephanie, my dad, Jeff, and my two sisters, Emily and Ella.
My name is Statler Schmidt. Last year I was a senior. I just graduated in May, and my mother, Melita Schmidt, is joining me.
Hello, I am Megan Dixon. I was a sophomore last year, and I am here with my amazing mother, Melissa.
I'm Ethan Bergman. I was a junior last year,
and I'm here with my dad, Jeff, my mom, Lisa, and my brother, Adam.
I'm Lizzie Warland, and I was a sophomore last year, and I'm here with my mom, dad, and brother.
Hi, I'm Maggie. I was a sophomore last year, and I'm here with my parents, Bill and Jennifer.
I'm Riley Wilkeson. I was a junior last year, and I'm with my mother and father.
My name's Lily Christakos, and I'm here with my mom, Erin.
I'm Madeline McCullough. I was a sophomore last year, and I'm here with my parents, Kelly and Todd.
Hi, I'm Anna Brumley. I was a sophomore last year.
Hi, I'm Madison Prine, and I was a junior last year, and I'm here with my mom.
All right, we got one picture here. Let me scoot in. We have to do 2 rows.
Let's give our students give your families, friends, neighbors one more round of applause. Congratulations. I also trust you all received a pencil when you arrived. Is that true? If you have a pencil, hold that pencil up in the air. You have a pencil? Shout out. What's it say on the pencil? Very good, very good. Keep that with you. It'll motivate you through the next few years, I'm sure. All right.
Before everybody heads out, I know you want to stay for most of the rest of the meeting, but I do want to highlight a couple other people. First, I'd like to have Katie Smith come up here. Each year in Indiana, the various organizations select individuals that are exemplars in their profession. And for our Franklin schools, we've had quite a few. We've had Dr. Hayden just a few years ago was actually Indiana's elementary principal of the year. Mrs. Principal Holman was the middle school district representative for principal of the year. And this year, we're very fortunate because Katie Smith has been selected by her peers to be the District 9 Elementary Principal of the Year. So we want to say congratulations to you for all your great work. Job well done. You want to say anything? Who brought you tonight? Myself. Okay, all right. Well, job well done. And all of our principals do a phenomenal job. Congratulations.
We have 2 more recognitions this evening in our guiding principle of collaboration. The next one, Mr. Kosh, if you would like to come forward. The Franklin Community High School Band was a recipient of the Indiana State School Music Association All Music Award for the 2022-2023 school year. Congratulations to all the talented young musicians and the staff for their outstanding musical accomplishments.
We'd like to thank the administration for all our programs. None of this would be possible without that support at all the levels. So we're definitely very fortunate to have that support. So thank you very much.
How many years in a row?
12 years total out of 15. So got a good streak.
Cardinal honor. Yep.
Thank you. Thanks again.
Yep. We'll get one more picture here.
And the next group we would like to recognize this evening under collaboration is the Mayor's Youth Leadership Council. So if all of you would go ahead, please, and come forward over here by Dr. Clendenning. If you haven't seen the sculpture in the roundabout at the opening to the high school, It's pretty remarkable. If you have an opportunity sometime soon, take a drive, circle around. You can just, that's the nice thing about the roundabout. You can just drive around and round and around it. But our students here with us who were on the council last year, I don't think these are the new members, these are the returning members, were involved heavily in that project with the mayor's office, with the artist. And so they are going to share a little bit about that process and the work that was done.
Noah, it looks like you're getting nominated to talk a little bit about how you guys came up with the idea and then a little bit about working with the artist.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Clendenning. So early, it would have been Layton would have been my freshman year, which was before I was even on the Franklin Mayor's Youth Leadership Council. Mr. Ahaus approached the council to work to, work to collaborate with them on creating the sculpture in the roundabout. So the project was passed on to last year's council, which was, president was my sister, Maggie Woods, who just today moved into Indiana University. So with that council, they worked to create a design, which was Mia Tisdale did the bulk of the work on the artistic creation, which they then went to Bomar Industries with the head designer Arlon Bayless, where they created the roundabout sculpture. And they visited the factory, and then eventually, over the summer, as you were probably all annoyed by the roundabout closure on Commerce, they put the sculpture up, and there's a grand opening, and it looks great, and I drive around it, and I think, wow, we made that. Thank you.
And during the dedication, Arlon read a poem called The Growing Tree, and that is now the name of the sculpture. So it is The Growing Tree. But congratulations to these students as they work with the city, collaborating. Job well done. And it's going to stand for a long time, and you'll all be able to drive around the roundabout. When you have kids come into school board meetings and say, I helped with that. So great job. Let's get our picture, and we're going to have to scoot in. All right, well, congratulations. President Nelson, this will conclude recognition, but I know that really the last question in everybody's mind is, who got Taylor Swift tickets? Raise your hand. Yeah, that was quite a deal. So congratulations if you were one of the many that got Taylor Swift tickets. And next year, it should be a fun concert. But with that, if you're looking to exit, now would be a good time.
Nobody's wanting to stay?
What's that?
Nobody's wanting to stay?
Greg said, I don't think we will. Mr. Kirby is. I would think.
Yeah. Poor Doug, he's just sitting there all by himself.
No, too many questions.
Oh, we miss you.
I'm glad to see you, though. I think Joseph is just kind of
Oh,
he's a very handsome boy.
Where did everybody go? Tina.
I'm a little insulted. You should be, I gotta say.
We
want to thank Mr. Kirby for sitting in the stands and staying with us.
Everybody left you. She's here to cheer you on.
Are there any public comments on consent agenda items?
Yep.
Was there anything that needed to be highlighted on the consent agenda?
Well, actually, there are a couple things. This year, we were pleased to have some outstanding new teachers join us. We have a few of them in attendance with us tonight. So we want to say thank you. There were 2 or 3 that showed up, and normally we have a celebration. They've had a lot going on, so thank you very much for coming and for being part of our school. They're both Franklin College grads. You guys want to talk?
Suzanne's up there too.
No, oh, and Suzanne, where?
She's right
Oh, okay. So yes, so we'll 3 here, and we had a total of 25 in attendance. So it's been a good start to the year, but I wanted to just highlight them and say thank you for joining our team. We do have a few other items of note as well. We have the handbooks. If you recall, we've updated the handbooks a couple different months ago, but we had to make one additional change with regard to our policies for everybody. And so we brought all of them back together again, and then tomorrow we'll post them. It has to do with placing Title IX into the handbook.
And also the addition of artificial intelligence into the academic integrity policy or component of the handbooks.
And then I wanted to highlight a couple of things. There is a resolution to transfer from the extended ed to employer of choice. And just as a reminder, the employer choice programs support wellness, both physical and financial, principal packs, tuition reimbursement, professional development, and instructional equipment. So this will allow us to start the new school year with the typical funding that we've had, and there will still be a little over $200,000 in the Cub Academy, Cub Quest, and Cub Care accounts. And then the salary schedule update. This is for the essential skills assistants. We've talked about it before, but this is an area that we struggle with recruiting people. When we looked at our peer group, recently we were 10 out of 12 as far as pay scale went. So we are recommending that we increase the starting hourly wage from $13.05 to $15.05 to remain competitive. That'll still only get us to 7 out of 12, but at least it's a start. We're back to the mid-range.
And then I just want to highlight the annual teacher evaluation plan. There are 2 plans that are attached to the agenda. One is the traditional certified plan, which applies to our classroom teachers and our SPED teachers. We've also included the counselor evaluation plan. We're trying to align the professional core in all of our certified plans so they are consistent. We also changed some of the timing of our face-to-face meetings between our teachers and our principals, as well as the ensuring that our observations are consistent across the board instead of a couple of different types. We have been collaborating with our colleagues in FCTA. We received positive feedback in every conversation, and so those changes are included as well.
Any questions?
I will move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, passes. Superintendent reports, the second quarter financial reports.
All right, are we ready for some numbers? I'll start with the Corp financial report, and this is as of June 30th of '23. That's always an easy one to visualize because we're 50% through the calendar year. So if you look at that green line, that first green line, we're at 48% expended. So we're right on target. We do have a couple of trouble spots. If you look at the 17,000 payments to other government units, those are our Earlywood and C9 payments, and those have increased a little bit more than what we anticipated. So we'll have to watch that. We may have to go into fund balance to cover those payments. And then down a little further, the 27,000 line, transportation support services, we're at 63% expended at the 50% mark. Transportation has always been an issue, always bin underfunded because of circuit breaker. The overages would be due to overtime, fuel cost, and the high cost of repairs right now. Overtime is caused by the many vacancies that we have in this area. So, and it historically, and we stopped doing this a few years ago, but historically we have transferred rainy day funds to cover the deficit in transportation costs. We haven't done that in a few years. We may want to consider that, or we can just go into fund balance if needed. And then the line below that, bus replacement, it's at 94% expended, but we had, this is where we entered the lease agreement for 15 buses. By the time we actually got the buses, they were at a higher price, so we had to purchase one outside of that agreement. So we won't have any additional costs in that area this year. So we'll likely have to request additional appropriation in some of the areas. In our increase in tuition support for the second half of the year will help support those additional appropriations. Any questions on that?
Mr. Young, have we heard anything regarding the Attorney General in dealing with the bus replacement issue?
It is still under investigation.
Okay.
That's all that they've disclosed.
Okay, thank you.
They warned us at the beginning, or notified us, that this could take quite a while for them to complete. So I'm not surprised that it's taken this long.
Thank you.
We would expect that possibility.
Thank you. Okay, and then on to the corporate financial report charts. This is pretty much the same information, but in chart form. But I have added the cash flow results on the left-hand side for each of the funds. On the referendum fund, which is the line highlighted in green, we are recommending, we had talked last year about taking $1.5 million of the referendum fund balance and spending that on safety in the buildings, specifically PA, door locks, things like that. We are recommending that we not take those funds out of referendum, but rather use the bond funds instead. That way, and I'll talk about this in our budget request, we've had a lot of reductions in caps on the operating side. So these will be funds available for salary and stipends and things like that. So we feel like that would be a better use of those funds. So in total, we started the year with $12.2 million in fund balance, and according to our projections, we will end the year at 13.5. So an increase of 1.2 million in all the funds. And then the right-hand side is just a good visual of what what we talked about on the first worksheet, but in graph form. On the operations fund, or the education fund, actually, remember at the beginning of the year we did a transfer of $750,000 from the ed fund to rainy day. That actually was supposed to occur in '22, but now it's kind of skewing our financials in '23. So you'll see a reduction in fund balance in the education fund, and it will look like we've overspent, but it's actually because of that transfer. And then the third is the quarterly ECA statements. This is actually activity for the school year 22-23, and then where the balances that they have to start with for this school year. Any questions? All right, I'm going to step up to the podium so I can see the slides on this next one.
Well, Mr. Gross goes up there. I want to highlight a donation that we did receive. We had to receive two that you have accepted, but I wanted to highlight NSK and Mitsubishi both have donated to the Coogee trip. NSK gave us $5,000 as well as Mitsubishi $2,500. So that's just a great gift to our kids to be able to offset that cost. And that cost is going to be around $1,500 for kids, and maybe a little bit lower as they get ready to head to Japan here in a few months.
All right, you ready to talk about 24? So the first slide just kind of outlines the process. This meeting is called the budget workshop, so I just go through what we're recommending to propose for the 24 budget. At the September 11th meeting, that'll serve as our public hearing for the 24 budget, and also I will request approval for capital projects and bus replacement. And then the October 16th meeting, we will formally adopt the 24 budget, and then I will need to get that into Gateway by November the 8th. Legislative updates. We had a lot going on this time, especially in finance. So the good news is we got an increase of tuition support of a little over 3%. So for us, that equates to about $1.8 million. Also included in that is increased state funding for special education. I'll talk a little bit later about our increase in costs in that area, but that additional revenue is $268,000 of the $1.8 million. And then that is the revenue estimates are based on a decrease in student enrollment of 24 students. And that's a number that the Department of Education came up with. And I think we're probably going to come pretty close to that. So. And then, if you recall, in 22-23, we had to make sure that we spent at least 45% of the tuition support dollars on teacher salaries. We fell a little short of that, 0.19%. So I had to do a waiver with DOE, but the projections for 22-23 are 47.61. The reason for such a significant jump is in the second year they allowed us to include teacher salaries at Earlywood and C9, so that helped boost that number. And then we also each year have to make sure that the funding floor for teacher salaries is either equal to or greater than the previous year. So for 21-22 we were at about 16.1 million. And then for 22-23, we're estimating 17.5 million. So we are good there. But then the rules changed again. So some of the districts complained that they paid more in benefits than salaries, and it wasn't a fair comparison. So Now we have what's called the 62% rule, where we have to spend 62% of the total tuition support on salaries and benefits. So for this year, our estimation for Franklin is 63.6%. So we are already there. And then for 23-24, the way we've scripted the budget, we should be at 65%. Funding floor, we're going to be fine. We always go up. We haven't eliminated positions or anything like that, so we should always be fine there. So this is the bad news.
Before you go to bad news,
Yeah.
just a quick reminder that on the 62%, that means the 38%, that's how we pay for support staff salaries. And we're going to hear a little bit more about why we needed to kind of pause on the safety side to help us on that. Because when you're looking at 38% to do all the other stuff that we need to do, that really becomes an obstacle. And I know the legislators are hearing about that side now as well. How do we balance that out? So just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that as we move forward. Thank you, Ms. Gross.
Mm-hmm. So the legislators were very concerned about taxpayer perception this round. So that brought into play some caps. Operating funds, we typically were always capped around 5% or the maximum growth quotient. So the 4% wasn't a big surprise. The projected increases for us are $320,000. But the big surprise was the referendum funds that were capped at 3%. For us, we've seen AV increases of 12%, 18%, and that's really allowed the referendum to grow. But with that cap on it, that our increase this year is only $147,000. So you can't do a lot of pay increases with that. So that gives us a total increase of $467,000. So that ends the legislative updates. Projected outcomes for 23. This is kind of a repeat of the cash flow statement that I talked about before. The number in red that you never want to see, finances in red. Again, that is that $750,000 transfer. So that's why it looks like we will have gone over in the ed fund. But if you back that out, projected increase in fund balance would be $1.8 million. Enrollment, there's some historical data on where we fall in enrollment. And then the projected for this year was -24. And I based the budget request on the 4848 number. And right now we're pretty close to that. If we backed out, we only get half-day funding for Roncalli students that go to C9 under our enrollment. So if we back those out, we'd be right there. Principal's been great about getting those enrollment records cleaned up this time, and I think we have a better idea of where we are right now. We still have students walking in and walking out, but I think we have a better handle on it this time. The board approved a contract with a group out of IU that's working on a long-term enrollment projection for us. And we had one done a couple of years ago, but we didn't really have the detail that we needed to make good decisions. I think Trustee Lamb asked, can we see enrollment growth by building? She didn't have that much detail, but this report will drill down into that detail and allow us to make better long-term decisions and where we need to point our resources. So that should be in this week. So for the proposed 24 budget, on the budget history slide, I've showed the last 3 years and then our 24 budget request. A couple items to note. The Earlywood transition is not in this request. And the reason is there are just so many unknowns right now. I don't have a good understanding of the revenues coming in and the expenses, and we don't even have the Earlywood budget for next year yet. So we will have to end up doing additional appropriations and additional revenue schedules once we have that information nailed down. But that will probably be maybe early to mid-spring for that. On debt service, you see about a little over $500,000 decrease in budget ask, and that's because our final payment of the 21 bond will be made, and it will be that much less. And then the negative on the referendum is because we're not asking for that $1.5 million in appropriation to spend down that fund balance. So our total request for 24 is around $71.3 million. The next slide shows that in a pie chart graph form, the distribution for the total budget. And then I have a slide in there showing the significant increases in cost for 24. We talked about the increase in enrollment that we've seen in special education. That is definitely causing us to move some of the resources from gen ed classroom to the special ed classroom and deal with some of the alternative ed and behavior support. I have factored in an estimate for support staff raises, the health insurance premiums, which is later on the agenda, but we're seeing a 2.5% increase in health insurance premiums, and our recommendation is to go ahead and cover that for both certified and non-certified. We've spoken with FCTA, and that's a priority for them. So we would like to do that on the non-certified as well. C9 estimated increase is $57,000. Our liability insurance, which I'm going to go into more detail later in the agenda as well, we're going to see an increase of $80,000. And then our RISE contract, which we've talked about the last several months, is about $105,000. So with these items, we have an increase of $1.2 million in the 24 budget. Teacher pay increases are not factored in here yet. The negotiations are a little later this time because our ADM count is 2 weeks later. So I've kind of shown what that might look like for a 1% raise, but we haven't started those discussions yet. All right. Are you still with me? Yep. Is anybody asleep yet? All right. I always get mad about this, but as always, even though our assessed values were due on August the 1st, they're still not in. So.
And I just looked, they are not in.
I know. I looked before this too. So it's always hard to hit the target if you don't know all of the elements to it. So I don't have that information yet. The policy analytics projection was a conservative 6%. I've heard rumblings about 10 or 11. So that'll work to our advantage. Even though we have caps on operations and referendum, that will at least drive our debt service rate down. So, and that's a goal for us anyway. So the requested tax rates, and that should be 24 instead of 23. I love when I notice that late. So you guys have been on the board long enough to know that we play this game. We ask for a lot more than what we expect to get. And a lot of it is based on that AV that is still questionable. So for operations, we're requesting 42 cents. I think we'll get around 40. We're at 41 right now. Debt service, we're asking for $1.22. I think it'll end up at 88 cents. If we go to 10 or 11%, that will actually take it down to 84 cents. So that would be amazing. And then referendum, we're asking for 24 cents, but the 23 cents is the max. So I think we'll be around the $1.50 mark. And then if you look at the next graph shows what we normally ask for versus what's normally certified. So I think what I want to point out here is I think we're going to land at $1.51. And if you look back, we haven't been that low since before the referendum was passed. So we've kind of absorbed that referendum 23 cents into our normal tax rate. So I think that's something we should talk about.
Back on slide 19, when we talk about that 88 cents debt service, remember the new law that goes into effect also, that if we are below 80 cents, it really helps us in terms of the process steps for us. Above 80 cents, you have to go to referendum to ask for money. We made the decision that we weren't going to jump projects ahead just to meet the deadline. So we're going to be delayed probably until 25. But Tina has done a phenomenal job of managing this space for us and working with our partners to see where we are. So getting to 84 cents would be significant, because I think that's ahead of our schedule that we projected. And if that were the case, then we can come back in and look to get some additional bonds and do some of that deferred maintenance programming that we desperately continue to need to look at. So just a reminder of that.
Back on slide 11, when we talked about the enrollment, are we tracking high school students? I guess it would be all students. You know, Clark Pleasant sent out their flyer in the mail that you could register through a QR code, right? And that went down into Franklin. Are we losing any students up to the Clark Pleasant district?
We will get a transfer report shortly after the ADM comes out.
Okay.
And so we'll be able to tell. That's not typically our largest school.
I'm just curious to see how they're advertising, if it's working.
Yeah, we have a meeting coming up with our consultant on that. I'll tell you, though, the big area, our graduating class and then our kindergartners coming in are 50 kids different. When we look at this year's kindergarten class, we are at 327, I think we looked at today. When we're graduating 380, that is significant. And that pattern's continued to repeat itself. We have to get to third grade right now. We have 379 third graders. So K1, 2, we're all about that 330 space. So if we had those kids back, we'd be seeing 150 more kids in that space. So that's one of the things we have to look at. I think it's more of an elementary conversation about what's taken place. I do think by the time their parents look at the homeschool and some other options, they say, hey, actually I'm going to come back to the school. But the classes just aren't that big. And so when we lose that many kids, but that's a good question, Mr. Lamb, for us to review. I know that we will look at those things. We're also looking at virtual school. You're going to hear more about that for us and ways to kind of partner with our community to see if we can get some of those kids back. I know Mr. Ahaus has talked about it at the high school level, but I really go back to the elementary. There are a lot of elementary families who are choosing either to stay home right now or do some other partnering, and that's what we need to look at. Can we evolve and be prepared to answer that question?
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. We have a back to school update.
Back to school. I just want to give a quick summary after the first couple weeks on how things are going. This whole year we're talking about, tell me something good. We've continued to talk about all the stress that's happened over the past several years, but we're really focused on tell me something good. We had a keynote speaker, Clint Swindoll from Texas, and he gave a keynote about Tell Me Something Good. He gave a couple of different vignettes. Mrs. Ott was there to welcome everybody, but his message was really how you look at life. You know, you have a choice. Do you look at from like that glass half full or glass, half empty perspective? And he gave an example of a coworker and how they looked at the life, and they had a very similar path. So this year we're doing something. Tell Me Something Good. We started off with celebrations, and so our very first one, we actually went out to transportation on the Friday after the first 3 days, and we had a grape juice toast to them to say thank you. It's probably the smoothest start we've had. We're still 5 bus drivers short, so CBIS is kind of reverberating with some of that lateness, but overall, we're doing a great job of that. So we toasted them. So one of the things that we're going to be doing throughout the year are those little toasts and celebrations to say thank you, to highlight people, to share different things. My message was about the power of awe, and I talked a little bit about, it's those moments in life that we capture and we think about. And what does it do to us inside of ourselves? I listened to podcasts from Outside Magazine and gave some research behind it, but ultimately, once again, we have a choice in how we look at life. The growing tree was a good example. When the kids all walk in and drive into school, that's a pretty cool thing. I had a local superintendent call and say, okay, how did you pull that off? And how we pulled it off is partnership with the city. That tree is $300,000 tree. And the city and the kids and the community came together and said, this is important to us. So we just highlighted that in terms of kickoff. Dr. Warland was up dancing on the stage. It was quite a sight. We had, yes, was that awesome? We had walk-up songs like the pro baseball players do when they get up to bat. So each school had a walk-up song, and Brooke helped them kind of get into that moment in time. From the Central Often District, we chose Sweet Caroline, so everybody sang along with that. Mr. Ahouse's was something to do with the Prince of Bel-Air in terms of something like that. Principal Holman was something about In the Middle. Mr. Perley, what did you guys choose again? Who Let the Dogs Out? Of course. Yes. And then the team on the west side chose to do a little Western ditty, and they did what song was that? So we had a really great time, and I think the energy in the auditorium that day was pretty amazing. And I want to give a shout out to Tina as well, because Tina heard Mr. Swindoll at a state conference. She came back and she said, we've got to hear this guy. And we're like, okay, well, let's see. But no, it was a great thing. And we also partnered with our financial institution who sponsored his journey here today. So that's the kickoff. I'm going to turn to Dr. Warland. She talks about the building thinking classrooms.
We've talked about building thinking classrooms here at this meeting a number of times. It did happen at the end of June. We had 850 people from all over. You can see on the slide 42 states and 8 countries. So huge shout out to our team on site. They were the brains and the muscle behind the whole thing. This was the first, so the inaugural conference, if you will. It will now move to Arizona next year, and then to the East Coast, and then back to the to the Midwest. So super exciting. Thank you to all of our partners. I don't know if anyone still in this room is a local partner. Our boutiques and our restaurants and our the art craft and all of our venues, people were amazing. Whether it was through participating in the kind of the session you could walk through during the conference, or sponsoring the bags, or just staying open later so that our guests could enjoy our city. We're just so thankful for the partnership, for that experience. People were amazed. They were really impressed. So, and kudos out to the high school for sponsoring. So many compliments just about our facilities, our space, and our people. So that was amazing. The next slide is on the Lilly Endowment and the literacy cadre. We were blessed to have all 5 elementary schools accepted into the second cohort of the literacy cadre, which is funded by the Lilly Endowment in partnership with Marian University and UIndy. So we have 5 literacy coaches. Our 5 coaches and our 5 elementary principals attended a week-long training in July to learn more about literacy. This is really one of the state's efforts to achieve that I Read 3 score we talked about at the retreat, of trying to reach that 95% of all third graders reading by the end of third grade by the year of 2027. And so we're in PD and we're excited, and I really think it's pretty powerful for our teachers in our buildings. So thank you for that support.
I had 3 categories, completed, current, and future opportunities. I'm only going to cover the first bullet in all these slides. If you'd like additional information on the other ones, I can certainly do that. Chromebooks in K2. You may remember that at the beginning of the year we talked about students this year in grades K1 and 2, keeping them in the classroom. So that was a major task this summer, making sure that we were set up and ready to go for NWEA testing, and we were able to accomplish that. I've received feedback from the K2 teachers that they are excited about that opportunity. Current opportunities, public address system. We've completed Northwood. The rain kind of poured rain on us, so we weren't able to do the outside horns today. So they did move on to Creekside, but that'll be our final buildings, and then we'll have a training on the public address system that is pretty intense. It's got a lot of capabilities, including cell phones, and all connect up through that. So we're excited about that, but our list of current opportunities is not a small list. Upcoming opportunities, artificial intelligence. They mentioned that a little bit earlier. And so that's going to change our world dynamically. And as we continue to work together and try to address how that's incorporated in our district, we're excited about that opportunity. But that's going to be an upcoming thing that we're going to continue to focus on. I will take a quick time out and see if you pop quiz. I did put cybersecurity in all of these. It is a past, it is a current, and it is a future. The FCC is currently looking at providing funding for simply K-12 to help fund for K-12 cybersecurity. And I'll speak in a moment later, but about making sure that we are dotting every I and crossing every T. Thank you.
Mr. Sprout, just
Yes,
a comment. Artificial intelligence is going to be a great thing, but we got to remember when we use it, the data that goes out is public. So if we've got sensitive information on our employees or on the school that we want to keep private, we got to keep it off of AI, because right now, if it goes out there, it's open for the public to data mine and use.
Thank you.
I also want to highlight coming opportunities. Tablets for board meetings. We had the joint city council board meeting, and Tara brought out kind of the laptops. One of the things that Matt and I have been talking about is maybe that might be a little bit easier for us to use as well. So it's just something to think about as we travel forward with our Chromebooks and replacing them with just tablets, as you guys kind of scroll through there and make those notes on that. So that's something Matt and I have had mentioned. So you might ponder that as well and give some feedback to Mr. Sprout. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, really interesting stuff now, operations. You guys got to talk about artificial intelligence. I'm going to talk more nuts and bolts here. We have HVAC projects over the summer that I got to come in and help finish up. Northwood's completed. They're looking to bring everything online here in the next week. They've been working with the different groups on that. Creekside is also completed. There was, I'll say completed except for one. There was one that had to be back ordered that didn't show up in order, so we're waiting on that. One heat pump to show up. Roofing, we have projects at both Northwood and Webb. Those are both completed with new roofs on them, and have walked those and done our punch list on those as well. Masonry, you'll probably, the thing that the masonry guys talked to us about when we walked, they said, hopefully you don't notice anything. And I was like, well, that's a great way of looking at it. If you don't notice anything, they did a really, really good job because they matched it up. And when we walked and did our punch list, there's a lot of things we didn't notice because they took care of it, and it all looks like it matches up. I did put one picture on there. We are going to do at Needham. If you've driven by there, it looks like half the building's really nice and half of it looks like it still needs cleaned. They cleaned the part they were supposed to due to the contract, and we're going to finish that up over fall break and do the power washing on the rest of Needham so it all looks the same. Blacktop and striping, this one, we have a few little spots that we're still finishing up with our punch list, but for the most part, all buildings were seal coated except for Union and restriped, and we are finishing up little things with our contractor on that. They left off just a couple little things like some of the arrows at the high school and a couple of things in some other spots. For the most part, those have all been completed and finished as well. Field turf, this one was the big one right when we walked in or got here in the summer. This one is finally completed. You can see in the bottom right of these pictures, there was one little spot that's cordoned off with barriers. There was a concrete and guttering issue there. Contractors got back a couple weeks ago, I believe, and finished off that concrete and finished up the guttering to replace that as well. But if you've been out to the field at the high school, it looks great. They've done a great job. Kids have been on it. We've been playing football. I think we're also, if you hadn't heard, playing some soccer games out there this year as well. I think 3 boys and 3 girls. Not sure which ones yet, but I know they're working through that to get those students out there as well. Because when you look at it, you can also see the soccer lines on it. They did a great job on this one, and the contractors, everybody on this one were great to work with.
Mr. Betts, can you go back to Creekside for a moment?
Yeah.
I know we had a little bit of issue that we didn't cause or that impacted the inside of the building.
Yep.
How are we doing on remediation and preparing?
It's all done except for the, there was a leak when they drained some of the heat pumps up in the top to test them out. Some water got down into the building, into the walls. It's all done except for some wallpapering on one side and baseboard. I don't know if Mark's still in here. I think is the baseboard back in yet? Yep, baseboard. There's a little bit of baseboard and wallpapering left to do, but other than that, it is complete. And we're working on getting those wallpaper guys in. Apparently, that's a little harder to do than I thought. I thought you just had a wallpaper guy come in, but we got to find that guy to get him in there and get us on his schedule. But the remediation piece of tearing all the damaged drywall out, baseboard, all that is done. So it's now just replacing those smaller pieces that need to be finished.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
As you may remember, last year was our first year for My FCS Academy. It was a program that we designed to kind of increase the understanding and communication between the district and our parents and community members. We had 20 people go through the program, and we had great attendance the entire year. Some feedback that we got, they'd like to visit a new building each month. Last year we stayed at one building one evening through the month. So this year we're going to visit different buildings, and we're going to do one program during the day at lunchtime so that they can kind of see school in action at the high school. That'll be our secondary program. Each of our members last year nominated 2 to 3 people who they thought might be a great fit for the program. Those people now have the application or are in the process of filling that out. And then effective tomorrow morning at about 9:30, the application will be live on our website and will go out on social media for anybody else who may be interested. And here are our program dates.
Mrs. Betts, one thing that's not on here, but normally we do Hall of Fame this time. And can you talk just a little bit about the Hall of Fame? I know Mrs. Ott's on that committee. And normally we celebrate with the opening kickoff of football, but we've made a slight change we're going to do during the upcoming winter season. So you want to talk about that for just a second?
Yes, we had a few nominations. Are we naming?
Sure, go ahead.
So this year we'll be inducting Dina Plana, and we are going to honor him at a basketball game, and it'll be between Franklin and Indian Creek. We thought that would be a great crowd to be able to bring him back. We talked about maybe doing it here.
Yeah, I think Mr. Doty's working on some of the final comments, but one of them was to have the game here. It's both a varsity girls and varsity boys game. It'll be a similar format that we've had during the football season. We'll have an induction the day before, and then we'll have some type of tailgate experience to welcome the community. Also make sure that Mr. Planiff has the opportunity to invite people that he wants. But he's been a great contributor, and both to the community, both locally and throughout the nation. But he definitely meets the guiding principle of individual student growth, collaboration, trust. We can kind of tick through all those things, but we're pleased to announce him into the Hall of Fame.
Yes, and we'll make sure you all get invitations.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll move along to the action items. Any public comments? Okay. Health insurance premiums. Tina?
All right. I mentioned in my budget presentation that we had received a 2.5% increase in health insurance premiums, so we were pleased with that, and our recommendation would be to go ahead and cover that that increase for both certified and non-certified. That comes at a cost of $164,000 for both groups. The only increase in premiums is on the excuse me, certified schedule, and the reason for that increase is because we discovered that last year we had charged a larger price for employee only than employee children. So we've corrected that, and that increase for the spouse children would be $18 a month or $9 a pay. So it's not a huge correction. So are there any questions on that?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. The liability insurance renewal?
Okay, so our Epic, we have insurance agents at a group called Epic, Jim Wise and John Salm, typically solicit proposals from insurance carriers this time of year annually. They did the same thing this year. We did receive a proposal from Liberty Mutual, which is our existing carrier. We also submitted an application to a group called EMC, and they had provided a proposal last year, but they were in the middle of some kind of system integration and completely wiped out our application and were unable to provide a proposal. So Liberty Mutual is our proposal on the table. They are proposing a total of $468,073, which is a $78,202 increase annually. That equates to 20% increase in premiums. And the explanations provided are our land, buildings, and furnishings are undervalued right now with the increases in assessed value over the last few years. We haven't kept up with those replacement values. And if something happens to one of the buildings, we want the replacement value to be at the right level. Also, the weather events that have occurred in this area are not helping our case. Increasing cost of vehicle repairs and replacements, and then due process in the special education area. There are a few cases across the country that are spooking those insurance carriers. So their risk calculations are off the charts. So they had given me a heads up that we were going to see a significant increase in our land and building values. So I had factored in $60,000 increase into the budget. It ended up close to 80, but we have to have liability insurance. So hopefully we can make up for that on the workman's comp side. So I'm asking for approval to go ahead and renew with Liberty Mutual. There are a couple of opportunities. They gave me a list of vehicles. I'm going to run through that and make sure that we still actually have all those vehicles. And then Mr. Salm today sent me some options on increasing our deductible to lower our premiums. So we need to look at that a little closer and see if that's something we might want to entertain. So I would say that the $468,000 is a a maximum amount that we would spend, and hopefully we can drive that down a little bit. But I would come back to the board and make a recommendation, especially on the deductible side. There is some risk to that.
Okay. I'll move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Notice of public hearing for the '24 budget.
Okay, I am requesting approval to submit notice of public hearing of the September meeting into Gateway, which is a requirement for the '24 budget.
Move for approval. I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? It passes. Permission to advertise capital projects and bus replacement.
All right, our capital projects plan, we're required each budget cycle to submit those items over $10,000 that we anticipate will be purchased in that budget cycle. So for us, it's mainly IT, and we've got a network storage upgrade for $125,000, firewall upgrade for $150,000, and then a battery backup system for $75,000. So that will be posted on our website prior to the September board, at least 10 days prior to the September board meeting.
And this is covered by our existing GEO bond, the actual money?
These would be operating funds.
Okay.
Yeah. The projects in the GEO bond or the lease bond would not be included in this plan.
Okay.
And then also along with that is the bus replacement plan. As I said, we entered into a lease agreement for those 15 buses a couple of years ago, and they've been trickling in. We finally got all of them. So the bus replacement plan is just paying off those payments up to 2026, and then we would start the cycle of purchasing 3 or 4 at a time after that. If we run into a whirlwind of funds that we can buy new buses, we can always go back and amend.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes. The Church, Hiddle, and Antrim Policy Development.
Yes, thank you, President Nelson. During our board retreat, we talked about kind of the arduous tasks that we have with our present policy format. There are a lot of different aspects in there that it's very difficult and cumbersome. So we've looked at a couple of different options. And tonight, we are recommending Churchill, and Antrim join as our new partner for policies. We're going to see a very significant streamlining of our policies and working collaboration with us. It'll be the same format, though, once we do get all of our policies updated, where they'll meet with Dr. Worland and myself, a member of the board, to go over the pre-first reading. Then we'll have first reading and adopt everything. But just looking at the process steps, I think this better fits Franklin Schools as we hit now in the future. There is a $16,000 cost to this. I've met with Tina. We're going to spread it over 2 years. So we'll have initial outlay of $8,000, and then when it's substantially completed a year from now, we'll pay the remaining $8,000. So with your approval, I would like to recommend Churchill, and Antrim as our new policy partner.
And then is there a maintenance charge for them to keep up?
There'll be a small maintenance fee each year after that.
Okay.
Similar to what we do right now, but it's not much. And it's usually a one-time, after legislative session, we'll get all of it in once.
Okay.
And as practice as well. If we have significant work, we refer to Mr. Young, and he comes in and kind of massages it finally. So it's still our voice, our law structures that we've put in place, but this will just be, I think, a better streamlined process for us. They have over, I think she told me she had over 30 schools right now that are partnering with them as they migrate towards that. Earlywood actually did this a few years ago, and it has worked out quite well. And Amy Matthews will be our lead person to help us with that. If you recall, Amy helped us through a lawsuit here recently with special ed as well. So we're looking forward to that partnership. Like I said, same format. Mr. Young will also be the person also to kind of weigh in and say yes or no, that's a good policy, and how to move forward with that.
Yeah, I concur in the recommendation, by the way. I found Neola to be difficult, so I would expect Churchill and Antrim to be a great improvement.
Good.
I'll move for approval.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Recommendation to hire individual under SEA 342.
So this, Mr. Young and I are going to probably tag team this one a little bit. Last general session, Senate enrolled at the time, Senate Act 342 allowed us to hire people with certain criminal history. The only stipulation was that we had to have a public vote set aside from all other personnel items where the board would weigh in and vote. So if you open up the recommendation to hire, you will see that the Enrolled Act says after June 30th, a school corporation, charter school, may employ or contract with an individual convicted of any of the following offenses if a majority of the members elected and appointed to the governing body of the school corporation or equivalent for charter school approves the employment contract. And the one offense up there, and the one that I would bring to you, would be someone who had a DUI. In this case, this happened back when the person was in college back in the early 2000s, but the law did not put in a time frame to this. So if you look at 20 years past, in this case, we still have to vote on this person individually. We also, in our practice, we state who the person is when we hire. We don't just say we're going to hire a person. We state who that person is. So before you tonight is the person, Tricia Bender. She's a school counselor at CVIS. Her violation was operating a vehicle while intoxicated back in January 27th of 2003 in Delaware County. This is the first one that we've ever had to do. I met with President Nelson and we talked about the process steps for this. I also met with Mr. Young to verify this is the format. And so tonight, it is the right format. The one thing that I'm going to probably look to next time is putting in the consent agenda, but we'll separate it. Well, instead of having personnel, we'll then have a separate special personnel section for us to identify. And then I would make note, like we do on any other consent, if there was an issue that came up or why we're approving that, I would stipulate to why we're approving that. But tonight, I placed it inside the action item, number one, so that we could get meet the law that you all have to vote individually on this, and to explain Senate Enrolled Act for the community and understand why are you pulling out this one person for this one offense. I believe there are 13 offenses, is that right, Mr. Young?
Yeah.
That are in there. I will tell you, most of them, if a person had those, we wouldn't even hire them. And so this one, person's in college, something happens. In the past, we had kind of had a 5-year window. If something happened, and I could approve that, and then move on to the personnel for you all to say yes or no to. The General Assembly said, no, we want a different format. We want this format. So tonight, I'm asking for your approval to hire Tricia Bender as a CBIS counselor with regard to Senate Enrolled Act 342.
Move to approve.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes.
You know, my only other comment, I'm chagrined that we have to single and almost put someone out, it's like a walk of shame to the public to do this. You know, they're back in college, this is 20 years removed, and we're saying, oh, by the way, let's talk about this. So she understands, I talked to her extensively about what was going to take place, but I just wanted to make that additional comment. Like, I just think the legislators need to kind of think about this. This is really the step that you want to take in a community. But on Tell Me Something Good, I'm going to shift gears to the next one. If you remember, look, last spring we had a presentation on JROTC. We submitted our application. I received very positive news this week that we're in good position to be selected. One of the requirements was a letter from the board president saying that the board approved of our application to participate in JROTC. They said what had happened was a few schools got approved, and then the board said, what? And so this is just to verify. So I met with Mr. Ressler, and he said, if you could have the board approve this letter. And so tonight I'm asking for approval of letter of agreement. We would then fax this to Fort Knox tomorrow, and I do believe we'll receive some positive news in the future about this. And hopefully this would start in 2024, at the latest 2025. But I'm really excited that this could be one of our pathways and opportunities for our kids to participate in JROTC.
Move for approval.
A second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It passes.
Okay, as Matt comes up to give this last one, Roger, I have a point of clarification I need to ask and talk about. So in this cybersecurity one, Matt really needs it approved. I know there's a public comment section, and so normally our process steps would have a discussion, give the public a chance to talk about it, and then, move the next month to approve it. This is a $5,000.
I think it's under two.
It's under $2,000 for us to help us with cybersecurity, that we really need this. I understand that we need public comment. Would it be sufficient that this public comment section for the discussion serve as public notice, or do I need to have Matt wait to do this?
This has been on the agenda since the agenda was posted, correct?
Correct.
You bring up an interesting point. The statute requires that public comment be allowed prior to final action. It doesn't say how much prior to. So you can theorize, is a year, can you have public comment now and a year from now take action without any further comment? No, we have no guidance. I would say if the board intends to take action at the next meeting, and since this has been on the agenda, since it was posted, and the public knows about it, that it would be appropriate to allow public comment on this item tonight, and it would not be necessary to allow public comment again prior to it being approved at the next meeting. Having said that, though, it seems to me if someone wants to stand up and make a comment at the next meeting under public comments on this item, there'd be no harm in allowing that either. Does that give you the guidance?
Doing it tonight.
Could I do it tonight?
Oh, okay, doing it tonight. Well, once again, if this has been on the agenda since it was posted, then it would be no different. Well, that's not true, though. The agenda didn't give people any fair notice that there was going to be action on this evening.
No, it didn't. That's what I'm asking.
That's the problem.
And that's okay if we don't need to. I mean, Matt just needs to go back to the vendor and say, due to our process steps.
The whole thing keys on the public having an opportunity to comment on matters that the board's going to act upon. If they don't know the board's going to act upon those matters, then giving them the opportunity to speak is kind of illusory.
Yep.
For example, someone may have decided not to attend the meeting and comment tonight, simply because they knew this wasn't an
Yeah.
action item. And
So-
had they known it was an action item, they would have had something to say.
So in the future, we will never have a discussion item move from discussion to action like we've had maybe in the past where something came up like this, right? So just so we're all aware of that.
Our agendas used to caution the public that some items might be moved from discussion to action.
But that doesn't meet the letter of that law, does it? Or does it? That's what I'm asking. How can we help? In this case, we're going to spend a few dollars for cybersecurity.
Well, I think if we go back to what we were doing, and I don't know when that got dropped
Okay.
from the agenda. I know that in the past, that was always put on the agenda as a caveat.
I think it was
Telling
when
people any of these.
community comment was required is when we
So
stopped.
can we make everything an action item and then just not vote on it and be a discussion?
That would be another
You could do that.
way to address it. But tonight, now
Not
that
tonight, but I'm just
Yeah.
from process.
Yeah.
I don't know why you couldn't.
Make everything an
But tonight specifically, no. The public did not get fair notice that there would be final action received.
Okay.
So, sorry.
Well, no, I think that's a good point. This is really the first time that I remember that we've even asked to, with the law change, to kind of move. Matt and I were talking about this. I just like, we'll try. So that is fine. We'll just have them go back to the vendor. But I think what Mr. Wirtz is suggesting might allow us to happen. We just won't have discussion. We'll just have action items, and maybe in the process steps, we'll put things below that really are things for us to discuss, and then table them for the next board meeting.
Or clearly state on the agenda that a discussion item may be moved to an action item and a final decision might be made.
Okay.
Again, it's if you give fair notice to the people that that's possible.
Okay. I'll work with President Nelson and to see how we proceed. It's either through asterisk mark or do what Mr. Wirtz said, but some way to allow some flexibility when things like this happen. This is not obviously what the community was asking us not to avoid, right? That's not what they were thinking. So, Mr. Sprout.
Thank you for your time. We are going to upgrade our host servers, of which they're virtualized. VMware is that product, and as such, we want to make sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's. I spoke about that earlier on cybersecurity. Our desire would be to team up with PeopleDriven and have them double check our implementation and make sure that the configuration's right after we get done with the installation. So it would be that charge, and we did price other vendors, and this was the lowest and best offer. Thank you.
Any public comments? After all that.
Yeah. Matt, I do have a question. There are exceptions for emergency type purchases. Would this fall into that category? Are you going to install servers and have risk?
We are current. That probably doesn't surprise you. The servers are in need of replacement, but I wouldn't constitute it as an emergency. It needs to be done pretty quick, but I believe that we could wait until September to do that. We have everything in-house, but we can hold off.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any board comments?
I do have an update from the athletic department here tonight. So when we look at our 2022-2023 sports standings, our girls were champions for that time period. That is the 12th time for the girls to hold that. The boys were also the champions. This is high school and middle school. That's the 16th time for the boys to hold that distinction. And then for the 2022-23, we were also the combined boys-girl champions for our conference. And that's the 5th time that we've held that, but it's the first time in history that we've held all 3 at one time. So well done to the school for all the athletes for that.
Thank you, Mr. Lamb. Any administrative comments?
I did want to talk about negotiations. As I talked about before, the calendar kind of pushes back by 2 weeks because of the ADM count being delayed. We do have an informal meeting tomorrow. We're going to look at the definition of our bargaining unit, look at a couple of compliance issues that came up last year, talk about timeline, and then there's some ECA change recommendations from the committee to consider. So more informal things going on. Andy and Brian, you are slated as our representatives for these efforts, so we'll keep you posted on that timeline. And we are planning to have the public hearing on September 6th, where Dr. Clendenning and Tony stand in the auditorium and wait for people to come in and provide their input. I don't think anyone has showed up since in the 5 years that I've been here, but maybe this year will be our first.
And that is the 6th, I think.
Yes.
September
So
6th.
you're all welcome to join us if you'd like. It'll be at 3 in the afternoon.
And looking ahead, normally we have like September 15th, Andy and Brian. I think one thing we're looking at is at least 2 weeks later, correct, to have that first formal conversation?
Yes.
Yeah, so it'll be like the 19th maybe, or the 29th of September, after school probably, as we gather together. But we'll email you that thing. I have a couple, also, I talked to Christy. Normally Christy serves as the delegate for us as we have the ISBA annual conference, and I believe, unfortunately, she will not be available this time. So if anybody would like to go be the ISBA delegate, just let us know and we'll submit. We have to submit your name, and Natalie can do that for us. That is also the end of September. I'm looking for my thing. Oh, it's right here. It's September 25th and 26th. The delegate session is usually the very first thing. I think, isn't that right, Christy, at 8 o'clock? Like 8 to 9. And if you couldn't go for the rest of the conference, we at least serve as the delegate. That's where they actually kind of set the journey. Christy, what else do you want to?
They set the new, like, their officers for their head board, and then they just talk about the agenda for the rest of the year that they want to, things that they're concentrating on as the ISBA, just for schools and things like that they're talking about with the legislators and things. So
if anybody would like to do that, let us know. And also, this is just the general announcement about the conference. To go, I know Becky has gone in the past. I don't know if your new job will allow you to do that, but that'd be great.
Try.
Dr. Warren and I will be in attendance for us and looking at that. So it is September 25th and 26th with the delegate. So the superintendent session is also the same time, that 8 o'clock that morning, for us to do the same thing, set our priorities for legislative session, et cetera. I can tell you one of the big things everybody's talking about is the professional education and really trying to honor and celebrate being an educator. We are many positions short. We're pretty fortunate. We've made a good run. I think we maybe have 1 or 2 spots, but other schools have several openings, and looking at that. So that's one thing I wanted to highlight. Additionally, in September, we usually do my evaluation. So during that time, we need an executive session. So look at that calendar. And then Mr. Young and I met today. There'd be another time, I think, for an executive session. We could probably couple those together on some staff development with regarding to some new laws and legislation. I've asked Mr. Young to reach out to Frost Brown Todd. If you remember, we had Tom Wheeler work with us in the past. And so he was going to see if he could come in and talk about some federal legislation and kind of different things along the way to help us with that. So if we could look at our calendars and kind of marry both of those together, that would be great in September as we move forward.
I spoke with Tom today. You'll get the email tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes, he'd be delighted to come spend some time with us. I told him sometime after Labor Day. He said, that's great.
Okay.
And I told him we'd get him some dates.
Okay.
And we'll check out his availability, but he has committed to assist us.
Thank you very much. I think that'll be great. If you remember, Tom came about 5 years ago, and we had that session at the high school with him as well, and some federal law stuff. So he'll be back for that. So we'll check your calendars on that. And last one, yes, thank you, Dr. Worland. It's time to look at quarterly board visits, right? When we go out to the schools. And looking at those, we usually have one late September, then again in November, December, then come back for 2 more. Do those, I only first asked them, are mornings still okay with everybody? When you look at your calendars and thinking that's a good thing, it's about 7:30 to 9, where we have the schools highlight their successes and tell me something good. And then look at the calendars looking ahead. September, either that 3rd or 4th week, would you guys would the team have a preference on what date you'd like to see?
There's a 4th week. I'm going to be gone the 3rd week.
The 4th week is better? Are Fridays still better for everybody as well? Yeah. Okay, so that 4th week, I think that's the, Natalie, do you remember what date that is exactly?
29.
29, yes.
Well,
Okay. I could not go to that, that's fine. So the 29th, and I believe we were up at,
We're supposed to be at
Needham,
Needham, right?
That's what I thought. So Needham would be up on the 29th for us to do that. So Mr. Purley is here, so you can mark your calendar for that. 7:30, 7:15 or so, breakfast celebration with everybody, and then Mr. Purley will talk. I think one of the things we'll highlight will be the BEST program, the new alternative school program that we have there, and then whatever else he wants to celebrate. So that'll be the 29th, and Natalie will get with you for the November, and then again in February, and then probably one more in April to get your calendar set up with that. And thank you, yes, Mrs. Best, appreciate that. So before COVID, we celebrated first responders. We said thank you to the firefighters, the police, and different ambulance, et cetera. We're going to go back to that this year, so we're going to have a September 11th celebration. It's going to be in the middle school parking lot here, where we have food trucks, just to say thank you. So the board is invited to come and to say thank you to that. We know what food trucks said, so we'll have a couple of different options probably, but we just want to say thank you to them for all the things that they do for us. We're getting ready to start into the sports season, and they're going to be partnering with us. Hopefully we never have to use them, but it is a way to say thank you to them as well.
11:30.
And it's going to start at around 11? Okay. Yep. Okay. All right. I think that is all that I have. Thank you.
Okay. Move for adjournment.
All right. Good night.
We're adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.